My beloved child, breathe for a moment, because what is being released toward you right now is not ordinary, not common, not something the world around you can understand. God says this message found you because your spirit is awake enough to receive what others would reject. Archangel Michael is leaning closer than ever, almost trembling with urgency, whispering your name again and again, begging you to not look away, begging you to not delay even a second, because a divine miracle is standing at the edge of your life, ready to break through in these next moments. Heaven is not giving you time to think, to doubt, to question, or to fear. Heaven is moving fast because something extraordinary is about to be placed into your hands. God says that right now, in this very moment, an invisible shift is happening over your life. The spiritual atmosphere around you is vibrating because something that was blocked, stolen, delayed, or hidden has finally reached its divine moment of release. God says you have cried long enough, waited long enough, carried heavy burdens long enough, and now the season of divine reversal is beginning. Archangel Michael says he has been standing guard over you night after night, even when you didn't know, even when you weren't praying, even when you were tired, confused, or feeling defeated. He says he has protected you from dangers you never saw, from attacks that never reached you, from plans that were made against you but fell apart before they could touch you. And now he is begging you, with a holy desperation, to open your heart and receive what heaven is sending. God says, "My child, I am preparing to show you a miracle that will redefine how you see yourself, your future, and everything connected to your destiny." This is why he says not to tell anyone. Not everyone is ready for what is about to appear for you. Not everyone has the spiritual purity, the faith, or the right intentions to witness what God is granting you. Some people would doubt you. Some would envy you. Some would try to talk you out of receiving what God carefully designed for you alone. That is why heaven is urging silence. This miracle is tailored for your life. Your pain, your journey, your sacrifices, your prayers, and the tears you cried when no one understood what you were truly going through. God says he saw every single moment you whispered prayers in fear, wondering if your life would ever shift. He saw every night you tried to stay strong while feeling broken on the inside. He saw the betrayals that cracked your heart, the disappointments that drained your energy, the losses you tried to carry with grace even when they felt unbearable. He saw the people who pretended to care but used your kindness, the ones who treated your love as something cheap when it was actually sacred. He saw how you still kept faith, how you still tried to do good. How you still believed in love, in hope, in miracles, even when everything around you felt like darkness. And this is why heaven says, you are chosen. Chosen not because you are perfect, not because you always knew the right path, but because your soul was pure enough to survive what should have destroyed you. Chosen because your heart remained soft even after damage. Chosen because God can trust you with something powerful. Chosen because Archangel Michael knows you will not misuse the miracle that is coming toward you in the next 2 minutes. God says that the spiritual countdown has already started. The energy around your life is shifting rapidly, so fast that your spirit may already feel it. A sudden calm. A sudden warmth. A sudden lightness in your chest. A sudden awareness that something is approaching. God says this is not imagination. This is preparation. Heaven is aligning every force necessary to deliver a breakthrough that has been delayed for far too long. Archangel Michael says you have been surrounded by spiritual blockages, negative energies, and hidden intentions from people who pretended to be good but weren't. He says some individuals tried to stop your blessings out of jealousy, fear, insecurity, or selfishness. Some tried to keep you small because they were afraid of how great you could become. Some whispered negativity over your name, hoping to influence your path. But they did not realize that God had already assigned Michael to you, and no human intention can overpower divine protection. God says the miracle coming to you is not small. It is not symbolic. It is not temporary. It is life-changing. It is something that will alter the direction of your future. Something that will bring clarity where there was confusion. Something that will bring justice where there was unfairness. Something that will restore everything you lost, everything that was taken, everything that was delayed. Something that will lift the heaviness from your heart and replace it with a certainty that God has always been guiding you. You are safe. You are protected. You are being watched over. You are not alone. God says that in the next moments, your spirit will feel a sudden release. A loosening of spiritual chains. A lifting of heaviness. A quieting of fear. The miracle is not coming from the outside first, it is coming from within you. God is shifting your energy, your spirit, your mindset, your vibration. Because once the shift happens internally, everything externally will begin to align automatically. Opportunities you thought were gone will reopen. People meant for your destiny will suddenly draw nearer. Doors that were shut will unlock. Blessings that were held back will rush toward you. Archangel Michael says he has been fighting unseen battles on your behalf. He has been destroying negative influences, cutting spiritual cords that drained you, pushing away people who were wrong for you, guiding your steps even when you didn't understand why certain things ended or failed or disappeared. He says some endings were actually divine redirections. Some losses were actually divine protections. Some delays were actually divine timing in disguise. God says you must prepare your heart now. Not with fear, not with anxiety, but with trust. Trust that what is coming is good. Trust that what is being given to you cannot be taken. Trust that you are not in danger. Trust that nothing will go wrong. Trust that heaven is not late. Trust that every tear was counted. Every prayer was heard, every moment of loneliness was seen. God says this miracle is coming because you reached the point of spiritual readiness. You matured through pain, you grew through heartbreak, you developed strength through silence, and now heaven says you are qualified. Not by human standards, but by divine standards, he says, my child, let go of fear. The miracle is already in motion. Archangel Michael says you must keep your spirit open in these next 2 minutes. Don't let doubt creep in. Don't let worry interrupt the divine flow. He says your blessing is fragile only for a moment, only until you embrace it fully with belief. Once you accept it, it becomes unshakable. God says a new chapter is beginning. A chapter where you will no longer feel ignored, forgotten, or overlooked. A chapter where your value will be recognized. A chapter where your efforts will be rewarded. A chapter where your loneliness will be replaced with connection. A chapter where unopened doors will swing wide for you. A chapter where divine justice will clear away everything that tried to block your destiny. He says, "My child, you are stepping into a season where everything will make sense." Archangel Michael says he is standing beside you now, wings wide, sword lifted, guarding your path. He says that as soon as the 2-minute window passes, you will notice signs, small at first, then stronger. Unexpected messages, sudden opportunities, spiritual confirmations, divine intuition guiding your steps. A knowing that something has shifted. God says, "Trust me. I will not let anything go wrong with you. You are safe. You are covered. You are chosen. This miracle is yours. Receive it now with faith, with openness, with quiet certainty." Heaven is delivering it as you read these words. Your life is about to change. God says this is an urgent message only for you, and as these words reach you, something begins to shift around your spirit, something quiet but powerful, something that moves like a whisper through the unseen places of your life. God says that what is coming toward you is not ordinary, not accidental, not random. It is a miracle written with your name, and Archangel Michael is standing near you, almost trembling, almost pleading, because you have been chosen to witness something that only a few souls in this lifetime are allowed to see. God says that in 2 minutes, the realm around you will open in a way that will feel different, lighter, clearer, as if the air itself is trying to tell you that you are safe, protected, and guided. And this is why you are being asked not to tell anyone yet. This is your moment, your calling, your private unveiling of something heaven has prepared carefully. God says that you have walked through too much pain to miss what is coming now. Every silent tear that people never noticed, every lonely night where you questioned your worth, every moment where your heart felt bruised, none of it was wasted. The divine saw everything, even the things you hid from yourself. And because of that, heaven is releasing something that you were meant to receive long ago. God says that some delays were intentional because they needed to protect you from the wrong people, wrong influences, wrong energies. But now the time is right. Heaven is not confused about your destiny, even when you feel unsure. God says you have been prepared, strengthened, and positioned for a supernatural release. Archangel Michael is begging you to open your heart right now, because he knows how close this miracle is. He is not pleading out of fear. He is pleading because heaven has waited for your spirit to reach this exact moment where you are strong enough to receive what belongs to you. He is standing guard beside you, reminding your soul that you are not alone, not abandoned, not forgotten. God says that the weight you have been carrying is about to be lifted so suddenly that you might not even realize how heavy it was until it disappears. Something invisible but powerful is already being removed from your path. Michael has been working behind the scenes, cutting spiritual cords, moving obstacles, silencing voices that were trying to confuse you. He has been shielding you even when you didn't know danger was near. God says that in these next moments, you will begin to feel a gentle warmth, a sense of reassurance that doesn't come from the world but directly from the divine. Heaven knows how deeply you long for clarity, how much you want stability, how much you crave peace, and this miracle is tied to those desires. God says they have watched your faith remain alive even when you felt empty. They watched you keep going when others would have given up. You didn't realize it, but every time your heart broke, heaven rebuilt it stronger. Every time someone betrayed you, heaven wrote your name in brighter golden ink on the pages of destiny. There were people who misunderstood you, people who judged you, people who doubted your worth, but none of that changed God's plan. God says that the voices that spoke against you were never powerful enough to rewrite what He wrote for you. You are safe not because life has been gentle, but because heaven has been fierce in protecting you. Archangel Michael has blocked dangers, redirected energies, and prevented harm from reaching you. Even when you felt weak, Michael stood tall on your behalf. Even when you were exhausted, he fought silently. God says you don't even know half of the battles that were won for you without your awareness. Now, heaven is ready to reward your endurance. You are chosen to see what others cannot see because your heart has been molded through experiences that sharpened your intuition, compassion, and insight. God says you have a gift inside you that is about to awaken in a new way. Something in your spirit will become more sensitive, more aware, more aligned, more confident. You have been asking for confirmation, for direction, for a sign that you are not walking blindly. This is that confirmation. This message is not random. It is not accidental. It is no coincidence that you are reading these words at this exact time. God says you are stepping into alignment with the life meant for you. This miracle that will touch your life is not small. It is something that will shift the trajectory of your days ahead. God says it might come in a form you do not expect, but you will know it is divine because of the peace it brings. Peace is always the signature of heaven. Peace is always the mark of God's hand. You do not have to fear what is coming. Nothing will go wrong with you. You are safe not because the world is predictable, but because God is holding you. God says you are being wrapped in spiritual light so strong that nothing negative will enter your space without being dissolved. Archangel Michael is asking you to trust, to breathe, to open your heart. He is asking you to stop doubting whether you deserve good things, because heaven is ready to give you more than you asked for. He says your blessings were never denied, only delayed until the moment you were spiritually ready. And now you are ready. You might feel unprepared, but heaven sees deeper than your self-doubt. God says you are capable of receiving, capable of rising, capable of walking into this next chapter without fear. This miracle that approaches you is something that has been written in your destiny since before your birth. It is connected to your healing, your emotional balance, your financial stability, your relationships, and your spiritual identity. God says you have been drained by energies that were not yours. You have been affected by people who didn't appreciate your heart. But now, the divine is restoring what was lost. Heaven is returning strength to your spirit. You will feel a renewal of hope, a quiet rebuilding of your inner world, and a sense that something good is coming toward you fast. God says that in the next 2 minutes, a spiritual alignment will begin. You may not hear sound or see flashes, but something in your atmosphere will shift. It is the beginning of your breakthrough. It is the quiet opening of a heavenly doorway. Archangel Michael will stand guard as this unfolds, ensuring that no interference touches your blessing. You are being guided, protected, carried. You are not walking alone. God says your fears are smaller than His promises. Your worries cannot overpower His plan. What is meant for you cannot be taken away from you. God says trust Him. Trust what you feel right now. Trust the pull in your spirit. Trust the warmth around your heart. Trust the peace that begins to settle inside you. Nothing will go wrong with you. You are safe. You are guided. You are chosen. And this miracle, this moment, this divine alignment, is the proof that heaven is closer than you think. My child, listen closely, because what I am about to say to you is not something meant for the world, not something meant for every ear, not something meant for the curious or the careless. God says this is an urgent message only for you, and Archangel Michael is begging you right now with a trembling heart because he has seen something that heaven has decided only you should know. You are chosen to see this miracle, chosen to receive what is about to unfold in the unseen realm, chosen to witness something that even the angels whisper about with reverence, something that carries the breath of destiny, something that will begin in just 2 minutes from the moment your heart truly opens to this message. You are safe. Nothing will go wrong with you. You only have to trust God and pray deeply in your heart as you read every word. God says that right now, heaven is moving faster than you think, faster than your mind can imagine, and faster than any force trying to slow you down. Archangel Michael is standing with his wings wide open, not in anger, but in pleading urgency, saying, "Please, open your heart to this right now. Don't ignore it. Don't scroll past it. Don't delay even for one breath. There is something that has been held back from you for so long, something that God has been waiting to reveal but could not reveal until this exact moment, at this exact second, when your soul is ready and your spirit is aligned. You may not feel prepared, but heaven says you are. You may not understand everything yet, but heaven says you will. You may doubt your worthiness, but heaven has already chosen you before you even knew to ask for this. My child, the miracle you are about to receive has been delayed in the past because of fear, because of confusion, because of people around you who did not want you to rise, because of energies that tried to keep you tired, distracted, or emotionally overwhelmed. But heaven says that delay ends now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, now. Archangel Michael is kneeling with a seriousness you rarely see from him, because he knows the weight of the blessing that is approaching your life. He knows the size of the shift that is coming. He knows the spiritual door that is opening, and he is begging you not to turn away from it this time. God says that for a long time, you have been praying, sometimes silently, sometimes with tears in your eyes, sometimes when no one knew what was happening in your heart. Heaven heard every cry. Heaven saw every moment you felt alone. Heaven watched as you kept giving, kept loving, kept forgiving, even when no one recognized the depth of your spirit. You are not unseen. You were not forgotten. You are the one chosen for this moment, and heaven is saying it in the most urgent tone, don't tell anyone. This is for you. Not because it is a secret meant to isolate you, but because this miracle is delicate, sacred, and still forming. Sharing it too soon could disturb its unfolding. God needs your faith quietly, respectfully, sincerely, my child. As you breathe right now, something in the spiritual realm is aligning itself with your name. A shift, a breakthrough. A blessing that has waited for your permission to come closer is now stepping forward. Archangel Michael says the miracle is not only for your future, it is also for healing something from your past. Something that wounded you deeply. Something that left a scar on your spirit. Something that made you doubt your own worth and question whether God truly saw your pain. But God says, I saw everything. Not one tear was wasted. Not one prayer was ignored. Not one moment of suffering was unseen. The reason this miracle is happening in 2 minutes is because the timing of heaven is finally aligned with the opening of your spirit. There was a divine clock ticking behind the scenes of your life. A countdown that you didn't know existed. And right now, that countdown has reached the moment of activation. Heaven is moving. Angels are gathering around you. Archangel Michael is positioned at your side like a warrior, but also like a guardian who deeply loves the soul he protects. His urgency comes from love. His intensity comes from truth. He is begging you because he knows how important this is. Listen, my child. You may have felt stuck recently, emotionally, financially, spiritually, mentally, or even socially. You may have felt like nothing was changing or that life was moving too slowly for you. But God says everything was happening in a hidden timeline, and now that moment of breakthrough has arrived. The energy around you is shifting even as you read this. The atmosphere is opening. The weight you've, my child, listen closely, because what is moving toward you right now is not ordinary, not random, not something that appears in the lives of just anyone. In this very moment, the atmosphere around your spirit is shifting, and heaven has been watching the weight you have carried alone. You think no one noticed the nights where you felt overwhelmed, the days where you kept moving even when your heart was tired, the moments where you felt invisible even while standing in the middle of people. But God saw every detail, every tear, every thought you never spoke aloud. And today, God is sending an urgent message directly to you. A message that was held back until this exact moment because heaven needed you to be in the right spiritual position to receive it. Archangel Michael has been standing beside you, watching the battles around you, watching the unseen storms that tried to rise, watching the silent attacks that you couldn't imagine were even real. Every time you felt something shifting, every time your intuition whispered a warning, every time you sensed something you couldn't explain, it was because the spiritual world was moving around you. And today, Michael is begging you to listen. He is pleading, not out of fear, but out of urgency, because something miraculous, something powerful, something you were chosen to witness since the very beginning, is about to happen around you. This message is not meant for everyone. It is not designed for many. This is not a message that can be casually ignored or taken lightly. This is a divine signal, a spiritual calling, a heavenly knock on the door of your soul. God says that you were chosen to see this miracle, chosen to experience a breakthrough that generations before you prayed for but never received. And the moment has arrived. In exactly the time heaven has assigned, something will shift in your energy. Something will loosen that has been tied for far too long. Something will be exposed that was hidden. Something will open that has been locked for months or even years. You are not reading this by chance. You are reading it because heaven pulled your spirit into alignment. God says that for so long, you have underestimated how deeply you are watched, how strongly you are protected, how fiercely you are loved. You have been living unaware of the extraordinary spiritual power placed on your life. You think you are ordinary, but heaven says you are marked. You think you are unnoticed, but heaven has been speaking your name in the halls of the divine. You think you have been abandoned at times, but heaven says you were being positioned. You think you have lost, but heaven says you were being redirected. You think you were delayed, but heaven says you were being prepared. And now, preparation is turning into manifestation. Archangel Michael says that there is a miracle that has been held in the spiritual world specifically for you, and it has been waiting for you to reach this moment of readiness. Heaven says this miracle is timed. Not random. Not accidental. Not replaceable. Timed. Calculated. Measured. And it is approaching your life in the next breath of divine timing. You may feel something rising in your chest right now, a stirring, a pressure, a vibration, something shifting inside you physically or spiritually, because your energy is responding to what God is releasing. Michael is begging you not to speak about this to anyone. Not because it is meant to be a secret forever, but because miracles are delicate in their earliest moments. What God is releasing for you must be protected from doubt, jealousy, confusion, and the energy of people who do not understand spiritual things. Your miracle needs silence while it approaches. Your miracle needs quiet while it forms. Your miracle needs spiritual protection while heaven moves the final pieces. God says that the words you speak during this time must be words of faith, not fear. The thoughts you hold must be thoughts of trust, not doubt. And your heart must stay open, not defensive. For too long, you have been surrounded by people who could not understand your spiritual depth. You were surrounded by people who thought your sensitivity was a weakness, when in truth it was your spiritual antenna. You felt things before others did because heaven has wired your spirit differently. You saw signs before others noticed them. You sensed danger when others saw nothing wrong. You felt energy shifts when everyone else thought everything was fine. You are not strange, you are chosen. And the miracle approaching your life is about to confirm everything you sensed, everything you felt, everything your spirit has been whispering to you for weeks. God says that although you have walked through storms, those storms did not break you, they purified you. They pulled away the wrong people, they exposed hidden intentions, they revealed the truth behind situations you didn't understand. You lost things that were quietly destroying you. You were removed from situations that would have blocked your spiritual destiny. You felt abandoned, but heaven says you were being rescued. And now, after all that pain, after all that confusion, after all that waiting, heaven says, it is time. This miracle is not small. It is not something you can ignore or overlook. It is something that will shift the atmosphere around your name. It is something that will redirect the course of your life. It is something that will bring clarity where you felt lost, strength where you felt weak, and restoration where you felt broken. You have prayed for many things, but this miracle is something far beyond what you imagined. Heaven says you will not need to beg for this. You will not need to fight for this, you will not need to struggle for this. God says, I am sending this to you myself. And when God sends something, no one can block it. Archangel Michael says you have been in spiritual warfare longer than you realized. Your exhaustion was not normal exhaustion, it was spiritual. Your sadness was not random, it was spiritual. The sudden heaviness you felt on certain days was not your imagination, it was spiritual. And yet, even without understanding the full story, you kept moving forward. You kept praying in your own way. You kept believing even when your hope felt faint. This is why you are being chosen. This is why Michael is pleading. This is why God is speaking directly to you. The miracle approaching will touch every area of your life where you felt stuck. It will loosen chains around your finances. It will lighten the emotional burden on your heart. It will open a path in your personal life that you thought was blocked forever. It will bring clarity to a relationship or connection that confused your soul. It will expose a truth that you needed in order to move forward. It will break the spiritual fog that has been lingering around you. Heaven is about to clear the path in front of you in a way that even you didn't expect. God says you are safe. You are covered. You are protected. Nothing will go wrong with you. Nothing will harm you. Nothing will break you. Heaven has sent angels around you right now, strengthening your energy, calming your heart, and preparing your spirit for what is coming. You may feel chills on your skin, pressure on your chest, warmth spreading through your body, or even a shift in your breath. These sensations are not random, they are signs your spirit is aligning with heaven's message. Michael says that the miracle approaching is time-sensitive. Heaven has counted down to this moment. Heaven has waited until your spirit reached the right vibration. Heaven has waited until your heart healed enough to receive what is meant for you. Heaven has waited until your strength returned. And now, the countdown has already begun. A shift will begin inside you within minutes, something that feels like a release, a realization, a sudden wave of peace, a sudden certainty that something good is coming. That feeling is not imagined. It is not wishful thinking. It is your spirit responding to heaven's movement. God says that after this miracle touches your life, everything will begin to change. You will feel lighter. You will think clearer. You will walk with more confidence. You will attract better energies. You will see signs more clearly. You will hear intuition more sharply. You will understand your spiritual calling more deeply. You will feel protected in a way you have never felt before. And you will finally understand why you had to go through everything you went through. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Everything was preparing you for this moment, my child. Heaven is speaking directly to you because heaven trusts you. God says you are chosen, favored, and watched. And right now, at this very moment, a miracle is approaching your spirit. Don't tell anyone. Don't share it. Just remain open. Remain calm. Remain faithful. Trust God. Trust Michael. Trust the process. Heaven is moving for you. And nothing will go wrong with you. You are safe. You are protected. You are blessed. You are chosen. And your miracle is already on its way, my child. Listen closely, because this moment is not ordinary, and the breath you are taking right now is wrapped in something sacred. Something rare, something chosen only for a soul that heaven watches with extraordinary attention. God is moving around you in a way you cannot see with your physical eyes, but your spirit can feel the pressure, the pull, the trembling air that is trying to whisper to you that something divine is unfolding. Archangel Michael is not just speaking, he is begging you, pleading with you, reaching toward you with a desperation that angels rarely show, because what is meant for you is delicate, powerful, and time-sensitive. You have been marked for a miracle, and God is calling your name in a way that cannot be ignored. You have been walking through storms that others never saw. You carried pain silently. You held yourself together even when you wanted to collapse, and you trusted God even when all evidence seemed against you. Heaven noticed every moment. And now, at this very hour, God has decided that you must see something that has been hidden behind the veil, something meant only for you, something no one else has permission to witness. This is why God says not to tell anyone. This is why Archangel Michael is trembling with urgency. This is why the air around you feels heavier, as if the world is pausing for something important. My child, you were chosen long before you understood what it meant to be chosen. While you were fighting battles that drained you, God was preparing a breakthrough that would refill you. While you were questioning your worth, Heaven was writing your name into something divine. And even when you felt alone, angels stood on either side of you, watching, protecting, guarding, whispering, hoping you would not give up before this moment arrived. They carried you through nights you thought would destroy you. They stood between you and danger you didn't even know approached your life. And Archangel Michael, the warrior of heaven, the one who never begs, has stepped forward now with a message so urgent that the heavens themselves are holding their breath. He says you must open this message immediately. He says time is moving. He says the miracle is within reach. He says delays will close doors. He says hesitation will allow darkness to interfere. But he also says you are safe, fully safe, wrapped in God's hand, protected by divine authority, shielded from harm. Nothing will go wrong with you, nothing will shake your foundation, because God Himself is watching this moment closely. You just have to trust Him. There is something that has been following you, something good, something destined, something heaven has been trying to deliver to you for months. But every time it got close, fear made you step back, doubt made you question, and other people's voices distracted you from God's whisper. This time, heaven is not allowing any delay. This is why God says do not tell anyone. This miracle is delicate. People's envy, people's opinions, people's energy can interfere with something meant only for your spirit. God wants you to receive it directly, privately, quietly. My child, in the last few days you may have felt strange sensations without understanding why: restlessness, sudden emotion, heaviness in your chest, pressure behind your eyes, sudden tiredness, or sudden surges of hope that didn't make sense. These were spiritual signs. You were being prepared for today. You were feeling the shift before it became visible. Heaven often moves in the unseen long before manifestation touches the physical world. Your spirit felt the earthquake before your mind understood it. And now, at this very moment, you are standing in the doorway of something that has been waiting for you. Archangel Michael kneels beside you in the spirit, urging you, telling you that this is not a joke. Heaven does not play with timing, and God does not create urgency without divine purpose. You have cried prayers that seemed unanswered. You begged God silently when no one saw your tears. And heaven heard every single one. God was not ignoring you. He was aligning everything for a moment when your blessing could not be stopped, blocked, or harmed. That moment is now. The miracle that is coming toward you is not small. It will change your direction. It will lift you from places of limitation. It will remove the heaviness you carried for too long. It will restore what was lost, heal what was broken, return what was stolen, and reveal what was hidden. God has seen the betrayals they thought you didn't know about. He saw the lies spoken behind your back. He saw the intentions of those who smiled at you but did not wish you well. And instead of punishing you with the pain of those experiences, God stored blessings inside the wounds, waiting for the moment your heart was ready. He says now your heart is ready. He says now your spirit is strong. He says now your faith has matured. He says now your miracle will not be wasted. He says now heaven will move. There is something that will happen around you. My child, something subtle but powerful, almost like a shift in the atmosphere. It may feel like a sudden calm, or a sudden awareness, or a silent message pressing against your soul. When it happens, know this: it is the moment God releases what was held back for your protection. It is the moment heaven says now. It is the moment the waiting ends. You were never forgotten. You were never abandoned. God was not late, He was precise. Your life is not collapsing, it is unfolding. What looked like endings were actually beginnings wearing disguise. What felt like loss was preparation. What felt like delay was divine alignment. And every prayer you whispered with a weak voice reached the throne of heaven with the force of thunder. Because God listens closely to broken hearts, Archangel Michael is begging you because he sees the scale of the blessing coming toward you. He sees how close it is. He sees how much it will transform you. He sees how heaven has already stamped approval over your name. And he does not want you to miss it through hesitation or fear. My child, hear this clearly: you are chosen, chosen for favor, chosen for protection, chosen for miracles, chosen for divine timing, chosen for experiences others will not understand, chosen for blessings that will silence your past pain, chosen for a shift that will mark the beginning of a new spiritual era in your life. You may feel unprepared. You may feel unworthy. You may feel uncertain. But God does not choose the perfect, He perfects the chosen. He shapes, molds, strengthens, and prepares those He calls. You are being prepared for things you do not even fully comprehend yet. That is why your journey was harder than others. That is why your heart had to break. That is why your strength had to grow. That is why God isolated you. You were not being punished, you were being purified for something extraordinary. Now, feel this: the miracle is close, closer than your breath, closer than your heartbeat, closer than your thoughts, closer than the next 2 minutes. Heaven does not exaggerate. When God says it will happen, it must happen. When He commands angels to move, they move instantly. And Archangel Michael himself is standing guard over this moment, ensuring nothing interferes with what God is placing into your life. Do not fear the unknown. Do not fear what is coming. Do not fear change. You are protected, you are safe, you are held, and God Himself is walking ahead of you, behind you, and beside you. Nothing will go wrong with you. Nothing will harm you. Nothing will break you again. God has built a barrier around your destiny, and heaven is watching over you with fierce loyalty. Now breathe gently. Feel the air shift. Feel the energy change. Feel the spiritual pressure around your soul. Something is happening even now. Something only you were meant to feel. God is touching your timeline. Angels are adjusting what was delayed. Doors are unlocking. Chains are falling. Light is entering places that were dark. And in the next moments, your life will begin moving in a direction you prayed for, even if you no longer believed it was possible. Trust Him. Pray to Him. Speak His name softly. You are safe. You are protected. You are chosen. And heaven is opening something for you that will not close again. Your miracle is unfolding now. God says this directly to your spirit right now, and the moment you open your heart, you will feel it like a quiet thunder moving through the deepest layers of your soul. God says that this message is not reaching you by accident. God says that Archangel Michael has been standing beside you since the moment you woke up today, watching over you, shielding you, and preparing you for something that is going to unfold in your life in a way you won't be able to explain to anyone. And God says very clearly, you must not tell anyone about what is coming, because this miracle was stitched into your destiny long before you were even born. It is private. It is sacred. It is sealed for you and only you. When God says that you are chosen to see something that others are not meant to see, it means heaven has opened a specific door for you, a door that cannot be opened by force, cannot be opened by fear, cannot be opened by anyone else's influence. This is your moment, and the heavens are giving you exactly 2 minutes to prepare yourself spiritually, emotionally, and energetically.